The war room of the Valthene Palace floated in the dark space above their homeworld. Inside, Queen Azara stood before the large viewing screen, her forearms crossed behind her back. Her skin shimmered with a pale blue light, a sign of stress among her people. The reports were bad. Very bad. 3 more ships lost at the border, Your Majesty, reported her military advisor. The humans are not backing down. Azara closed her 3 eyes slowly. This war would destroy everything. The Valthene Empire had ruled this sector of space for 5,000 years. They were powerful, advanced, and proud. But the humans were different. They bred fast, adapted faster, and never gave up. In just 200 years, they had spread across dozens of systems. Now they wanted the same border territories the Valthene claimed. There must be another way, Azara said quietly. Her advisors looked at each other. They had tried everything. Trade negotiations failed. Territory sharing was rejected. Threats only made the humans more determined. War seemed certain, and wars with humans were ugly. They fought with a desperation the Valthene could not understand. Your Majesty, said her chief diplomat, there is one option we have not tried, a marriage alliance. The room went silent. Marriage alliances were old, traditional, and sacred among the Valthene. If a royal married into another species, it bound both peoples together by honor and blood. To attack one would be to attack both. Which of my daughters would agree to this? Azara asked, though she already knew the answer. Her older daughters had proper mates, powerful positions, and many children. Only one remained. Princess Hana, Your Majesty. Azara felt her heart sink. Hana, her youngest, her kindest, and her most tragic child. Born with a genetic defect that left her sterile. In Valthene society, children were everything. Lineage was power. A female who could not bear children was considered broken, worthless. Azara loved her daughter, but she could not protect her from the shame. Hana has no value as a bride, Azara said carefully. She cannot give heirs. Exactly, Your Majesty, the diplomat said. The humans do not know this. They will see it as a great honor that you offer a princess. They will agree to peace, but there will be no true mixing of bloodlines, no complicated succession issues. It is perfect. Azara turned away from her advisors. It was a cruel plan. She would be selling her daughter's suffering for political gain. But what choice did she have? Thousands would die in a war, millions perhaps, and Hana's life was already difficult. At least this way, she could serve her people. Send the offer to the human ambassador, Azara said finally. Let us see if they accept. 3 days later, Ambassador Jiwan stood in the same war room. He was a tall human male with dark hair touched by gray at the temples. His eyes were tired, the eyes of a man who had seen too much death. He had read the proposal 5 times looking for the trap. This is genuine, he asked. You offer Princess Hana in marriage to secure peace? It is genuine, Azara said. She studied this human carefully. He dressed simply for an ambassador. His face showed every emotion plainly. So different from her people, who learned to control every expression from childhood. I must be honest, Your Majesty, Jiwan said. I am not royalty. I am a career diplomat. I have no special bloodline to offer. You have the authority to make treaties, Azara replied. That is enough. Your people respect you. A marriage to you would bind our peoples as surely as marriage to your president. Jiwan was quiet for a long moment. He thought of his home, his empty apartment on Earth, the picture of his late wife and daughter he kept by his bed. They had died in a transport accident 3 years ago. Since then, he had thrown himself into his work, into preventing wars, into saving lives he could not save before. If I agree, Jiwan said slowly, the war ends, all hostilities cease? You have my word as queen, Azara said. The moment you wed my daughter, the Valthene Empire and the Terran Coalition will be at peace. Then I accept. Azara had not expected it to be so easy. She had prepared long arguments, offers of territory, promises of trade. But this human simply said yes. For his people, for peace. She felt a strange respect for him, mixed with guilt for what she was not telling him. The wedding was planned for 2 weeks later, on a neutral colony world called Haven's Rest. It was a beautiful planet, with blue, oceans and green forests, suitable for both Valthine and human biology. The ceremony would blend both cultures. Princess Hana learned of her fate from her mother in private. She stood in her chambers looking out at the stars, as Isara explained the plan. "You want me to marry a human?" Hana asked quietly. "I need you to marry a human," Isara corrected. "For our people. For peace." "Does he know?" Hana asked, turning to face her mother. "Does he know that I am broken? That I can never give him children?" Isara could not meet her daughter's eyes. "He does not need to know. Humans are different from us. Perhaps they will not care as much about heirs." "You are lying to him," Hana said. "You are lying to them all. You offer me as a bride knowing I can never fulfill the purpose of a wife. You do this because you believe it costs you nothing. A broken daughter for peace, a fair trade." The words cut Isara deeply because they were true. "Hana, I will do it," Hana interrupted. "Not for you, not because you command it, but because I do not want war. I do not want more death. If my shame can purchase peace, then at least my existence will have had some purpose." She turned back to the window, her silver hair catching the starlight. Isara wanted to comfort her, to tell her she was wrong, that she was valuable beyond her ability to bear children. But the words would not come. In their society, they would be lies. "Thank you, my daughter," Isara said instead and left the room. The wedding day arrived with perfect weather. Representatives from both civilizations attended. Cameras broadcast the event across hundreds of worlds. Hana wore traditional Valthine robes of silver and blue. Jiwon wore a formal human suit of black with the insignia of Earth on his chest. They met at the altar as strangers. When Hana looked into Jiwon's eyes, she saw sadness there. Not disappointment in her, but an old pain he carried with him. When Jiwon looked at Hana, he saw a woman trying to be brave, trying to hide her fear. They spoke their vows in both languages. They joined hands. A Valthine hand with 4 fingers and a human hand with 5. Queen Isara watched from her seat and felt satisfied. The war was over. Her plan had worked. She had given away a daughter who could produce no heirs, and gained peace in return. She could not have been more wrong about what would come next. The estate on Haven's Rest was beautiful but felt empty. It had been prepared for the newlyweds with great care. Rooms decorated in both Valthine and human styles. A kitchen that could prepare food for both species. Gardens with flowers from 2 different worlds. Everything was perfect and cold and strange. Hana stood in the main living area looking at the furnishings. She did not know where to sit. Which chair was meant for her? Which for him? Everything felt like a test she did not know how to pass. Jiwon entered carrying 2 cups. "I made tea," he said. "I hope you like it." The kitchen staff said this blend is safe for Valthine biology. Hana took the cup carefully. Their fingers touched briefly. His skin was warm. Hers was cool. Different body temperatures for different evolutionary paths. She sipped the tea. It was good, sweet and mild. "Thank you," she said. They sat in silence. The awkwardness was thick in the air. What did you say to a stranger you had just married? How did you begin a life with someone you had met only once before the ceremony? "I should tell you something," Jiwon said finally. "I did not expect to marry again. My wife died 3 years ago. My daughter, too. I thought that part of my life was over." Hana looked at him with surprise. "You had a family?" "Yes, a transport accident. They died instantly." His voice was steady, but his eyes showed the pain was still fresh. "I tell you this because I want you to know I understand duty. I understand doing something difficult for the greater good. That is why I am here." "I see," Hana said quietly. She felt her own secret burning in her chest. He had been honest with her. She should be honest with him. "I must also tell you something. Something my mother did not reveal in the negotiations." Jiwon waited, watching her carefully. "I am infertile." Hana said, forcing the words out. I was born with a genetic defect. I can never have children. In my culture, this makes me worthless as a wife. My mother offered me for this marriage because she knew there would be no heirs, no complications. You were deceived. She waited for anger, for betrayal, for him to stand up and demand the marriage be ended. Instead, Jiwon simply nodded. I see, he said. Thank you for telling me. That is all? Hana asked. You are not angry? Why would I be angry at you? Jiwon asked. You did not choose this. You were used by your mother the same way I was used by my government. We are both here out of duty. He paused. But I want you to know something. I did not marry you expecting children. I am too old to start again. I married you to prevent a war. And now that we are here, I would like to make the best of our situation. What do you mean? Hana asked. I mean, we could be friends, Jiwon said simply. If nothing else, we could keep each other company. This estate is very quiet for one person. Hana felt something unexpected, hope, small and fragile, but there. I would like that. The days turned into weeks. They learned about each other slowly. Jiwon taught Hana to cook human food. She taught him Valthine meditation techniques. They walked in the gardens together. They played strategy games from both cultures. Hana was surprised to find that Jiwon was kind. He never pressured her. He never made her feel inadequate. He treated her like a person of value. One evening, they sat in the garden under the 2 moons of Haven's Rest. The flowers glowed softly in the darkness, responding to the moonlight. Your people fear mine, Jiwon said suddenly. That is why the war almost happened. The Valthine see humans as chaotic, unpredictable, dangerous. Yes, Hana admitted. We are taught that humans are inferior because you are so diverse. You change too quickly. You adapt to anything. This frightens us because we value tradition and purity. And what do you think now? Jiwon asked. Am I frightening? Hana laughed softly. It was the first time she had laughed since arriving. No, you are gentle. Perhaps too gentle for a human if the stories are true. The stories are not entirely false, Jiwon said. Humans can be violent, stubborn, and reckless. But we can also be loyal, creative, and compassionate. We contain multitudes. That is our strength and our weakness. Tell me about Earth, Hana said. I want to understand. Jiwon talked for hours. He described Earth's history, the many cultures, the countless wars and peace treaties, the way humans had almost destroyed themselves before learning to work together. He described music and art and literature. He described cities that reached into the sky and villages hidden in mountains. Hana listened with wonder. The Valthine had one culture, one language, one way of thinking. Diversity was discouraged, but humans celebrated it. They thrived on it. We are not better than you, Jiwon said. Just different. I think both our peoples could learn from each other. I think so too, Hana agreed. Months passed. The awkwardness faded. They became comfortable with each other. Hana found herself smiling more. Jiwon seemed less tired, less burdened. They still slept in separate rooms, but they ate every meal together. They spent every evening talking or reading or simply sitting in companionable silence. One night, Hana found Jiwon looking at a photograph. It showed a woman and a young girl both smiling. His lost family. I'm sorry, Hana said softly. I know you still miss them. I do, Jiwon admitted. I thought I would miss them forever alone. But you have made this bearable. You have given me friendship when I expected only duty. Thank you. Hana sat beside him. She took his hand carefully. You have done the same for me. You have treated me with kindness when I expected only disappointment. In my entire life, no one outside my family has ever made me feel valuable. But you do. Jiwon looked at their joined hands. 4 fingers and 5, different but fitting together. Perhaps this marriage was not such a terrible thing after all. Perhaps not, Hana agreed. Something shifted between them that night. The friendship deepened into something more. It was not the passionate romance of storybooks. It was quieter, gentler. It was 2 lonely people finding comfort in each other. 2 people who had been used as political tools deciding to choose each other instead. When Jiwon kissed her for the first time, it was hesitant and sweet. When Hana kissed him back, she felt a warmth she had never known before. They took things slowly, learning each other, building trust. I never thought I could feel this way again, Jiwon whispered one evening as they lay together, her head on his chest. I never thought I could feel this way at all, Hana replied. I thought I was broken. But with you, I feel whole. You were never broken, Jiwon said firmly. The world told you that you were, but they were wrong. You are strong and kind and intelligent. You are exactly who you are supposed to be. Hana felt tears on her face. Happy tears, sad tears, all the emotions she had buried for so long. Jiwon held her and let her cry. He did not try to fix her or change her. He simply accepted her. I love you, Hana said. The words surprised her. She had not planned to say them. I love you too, Jiwon replied. I did not expect it. I did not plan for it. But here we are. Here we are, Hana echoed. They fell asleep together that night, wrapped in each other's arms. Neither of them knew that their love was about to create something impossible. Neither of them knew that their genetic material was already combining in ways that science had never predicted. Neither of them knew that Queen Asara's careful plan was about to shatter into a million pieces. But for now, in this moment, they were simply two people who had found each other in the darkness. Two people who had been told they were not enough, proving the world wrong by being everything to each other. The universe had brought them together for political reasons. But they chose to stay together for love, and that choice would change everything. 6 months after the wedding, Hana woke up feeling wrong. Not sick exactly, but different. Her body felt heavy. Her head was foggy. When she tried to stand, the room spun slightly. Are you all right? Jiwon asked, immediately concerned. I am fine, Hana said, but she was not fine. Over the next few days, it got worse. She felt tired all the time. Food tasted strange. Some smells made her feel sick. She tried to hide it, but Jiwon noticed everything. You need to see a doctor, he insisted. It is nothing, Hana argued. Perhaps just stress, but Jiwon was stubborn. He called Dr. Minji, the human physician assigned to their household. She was a kind woman in her 40s with sharp eyes and gentle hands. She arrived the next day with her medical equipment. Let me run some tests, Dr. Minji said. Just to be safe. Hana agreed reluctantly. She sat still while the doctor took blood samples, ran scans, and asked dozens of questions. How long had she felt this way? What were her symptoms? Had anything like this happened before? I will have results in a few hours, Dr. Minji said. Try to rest until then. Those few hours felt like days. Hana lay in bed worried. What if something was seriously wrong? What if her genetic defect was causing other problems? She had always known her body was broken. Maybe now it was failing completely. Jiwon sat beside her, holding her hand. Whatever it is, we will handle it together, he promised. When Dr. Minji returned, her face was strange. Not worried, but shocked. She asked to speak to both of them together. I have run the tests 3 times, Dr. Minji said slowly, because I could not believe the results. But they are consistent, she paused. Princess Hana, you are pregnant. The room went completely silent. Hana stared at the doctor. Jiwon stared at the doctor. Neither of them could speak. That is impossible, Hana finally whispered. I am infertile. I have been tested by the best Valthine doctors. They all said the same thing. I can never have children. I know what they said, Dr. Minji replied, and I have read their reports. According to Valthine medical science, you should not be able to conceive. But you are pregnant. About 6 weeks along. How? Jiwon asked. His voice was hoarse with shock. Dr. Minji sat down, pulling up data on her tablet. I have been studying this for the past 3 hours. I have a theory, but it sounds like science fiction even to me. Tell us, Hana said. Her hand was shaking. Human DNA is unusually adaptable, Dr. Minji began. We evolved on a planet with incredible diversity. Thousands of different environments, climates, challenges. Our bodies learned to adapt to almost anything. This adaptability is coded deep in our genetic structure. She pulled up images showing DNA strands, genetic sequences, complex biological data. When human and Valthine genetic material combined, something unexpected happened. The human DNA did not just merge with yours. It interacted with it. The adaptive properties in G1's genetic code essentially repaired the defects in your reproductive system. It fixed what was broken. Hana could not breathe. That is not possible. I would have said the same thing yesterday, Dr. Minji admitted. But the evidence is right here. Your hormone levels are normal for a pregnant Valthine female. Your reproductive organs, which were malformed before, have restructured themselves. It is as if your body remembered how it was supposed to work and the human DNA showed it the way. Are you saying humans can heal other species just by breeding with them? Jiwon asked. Not heal exactly, Dr. Minji said carefully. But in this specific case, the combination worked. I think it is because Valthine and human biology are compatible enough to merge, but different enough that the human adaptability genes could act as a catalyst. It is a 1 in a million chance, maybe 1 in a billion. Hana put her hand on her stomach. There was life inside her. Life she had been told was impossible. She did not know whether to laugh or cry. Is the baby healthy? Jiwon asked. That was his first concern, always thinking of others before himself. All signs point to yes, Dr. Minji said. The embryo is developing normally. It appears to be a hybrid, with genetic traits from both species. I will need to monitor you closely, as we have never seen a human Valthine pregnancy before. But right now, everything looks good. After the doctor left, Hana and Jiwon sat together in stunned silence. Finally, Hana started to laugh. Then she started to cry. Then she was doing both at once, and Jiwon held her through all of it. I am going to be a mother, Hana whispered. Me, the broken princess. The worthless daughter. I am going to have a child. You were never worthless, Jiwon said, tears in his own eyes. And now the whole universe will know it. But then reality set in. They looked at each other with growing concern. What do we tell your mother? Jiwon asked. She married you to me specifically because she thought you could not have children. This will change everything. I do not know, Hana admitted. If we tell her now, she will take control. She will turn this into a political event. She will use our child the way she used me. I cannot let that happen. Then we keep it secret, Jiwon said. For now. Until we understand what this means. Until we can protect our child from being used as a political tool. Can we do that? Hana asked. Keep a pregnancy secret? We can try, Jiwon said. This estate is isolated. We have few visitors. Dr. Minji can be trusted. We can say you are simply ill, that you need rest and privacy. It will buy us time. Dr. Minji agreed to help when they asked her. I understand your concerns, she said. This child is a scientific miracle, but also a potential political nightmare. I will keep your secret, but you must let me monitor the pregnancy closely. We are in uncharted territory here. Over the next weeks, Hana's body changed. Her stomach grew slightly. Her skin took on a different glow. She felt the baby moving inside her, tiny flutters that made her heart swell with joy. Jiwon was constantly worried and constantly amazed. He would put his hand on her belly and feel the life they had created together. What if there are more genetic surprises? Hana worried one night. What if the baby is born with problems we cannot predict? Then we will love it anyway, Jiwon said simply. Healthy or not, perfect or not, this is our child. We will protect it with everything we have. Dr. Minji ran tests every week. She collected data, analyzed genetic sequences, and watched in fascination as the pregnancy progressed. The baby is developing faster than a normal Valthine pregnancy, she reported, but slower than a human one. It seems to be averaging the timeline between both species. Is that safe? Hana asked. Everything looks healthy, Dr. Minji assured her. The baby has a strong heartbeat, good brain development, and normal organ formation. It is a perfect blend of both of you. As the months passed, keeping the secret became harder. Hana wore loose clothing. She stayed inside more. When officials from both governments asked to visit, Jiwon made excuses. His wife was unwell. She needed rest. Perhaps in a few more months, Queen Isara sent messages asking about her daughter. Hana replied with brief, carefully worded responses. All was well. The marriage was serving its purpose. Peace remained strong, but Hana knew this could not last forever. Soon the baby would be born. Soon the truth would come out. Soon her mother would learn that her perfect plan had created something impossible. What do you think will happen? Hana asked Jiwon one evening, her hand on her swollen belly. I think your mother will be shocked, Jiwon said honestly. I think both our governments will panic. I think scientists will want to study our child. I think politicians will want to control this information. That frightens me, Hana admitted. Me too, Jiwon said. But I also think this baby is proof that our peoples are not so different. If we can create life together, maybe we can build a real future together. Not just a political peace, but true understanding. I hope you're right, Hana said. 3 weeks before her due date, Dr. Minji made an unexpected discovery during a routine scan. There are 2, she said. Her voice filled with wonder. 2 what? Hana asked. 2 babies, twins, a boy and a girl. I missed it before because one was hiding behind the other. But they are both there, both healthy, both growing perfectly. Hana and Jiwon looked at each other in amazement. Not one miracle, but two. Not one impossible child, but two lives that should never have existed. We are going to need a bigger secret, Jiwon said, and despite everything, they both started laughing. The birth happened faster than anyone expected. Valthine pregnancies usually lasted 14 months. Human pregnancies lasted 9. Hana's lasted 11, splitting the difference as Dr. Minji had predicted. The labor was difficult. Dr. Minji worked for 8 hours, assisted by 2 nurses she absolutely trusted. Jiwon held Hana's hand through all of it, whispering encouragement, wiping her forehead, refusing to leave her side even when the doctor suggested he wait outside. "I am not leaving her," Jiwon said firmly. "We are in this together." When the first baby finally came, the room filled with a strange, beautiful sound. It was not quite a human cry and not quite a Valthine trill. It was something in between, something entirely new. "A boy," Dr. Minji announced, placing the tiny infant on Hana's chest. Hana looked down at her son and felt her heart stop. He was beautiful. He had her bone structure, delicate and elegant, but his father's warm skin tone. His eyes, when they opened, were a stunning blend of both species, larger than human eyes but rounder than Valthine. His tiny fingers had 4 digits like hers, but they were shaped more like Jiwon's. "Hello, Suho," Hana whispered, using the name they had chosen. It meant guardian in Korean. 10 minutes later, the second baby arrived. A girl smaller than her brother but just as perfect. "She is beautiful," Jiwon said, his voice breaking with emotion as he held his daughter for the first time. They named her Yuna, which meant to endure. She had her father's darker hair and her mother's silver undertones. Her skin had a subtle luminescence that Valthine possessed. She looked like starlight made flesh. Dr. Minji ran tests on both babies immediately. She needed to make sure they could survive outside the womb, that their hybrid biology was stable. "Their vitals are all strong," she reported. "Body temperature is averaging between human and Valthine norms. Respiratory system is working perfectly. They are feeding well. These children are healthy." Over the next days, Dr. Minji continued her observations. What she discovered amazed her. "Their immune systems are remarkable," she told Hana and Jiwon. "They are resistant to diseases that affect both humans and Valthine. It is as if they inherited the best defenses from both species." "What else?" Jiwon asked, sensing there was more. "They are learning faster than they should," Dr. Minji said. "At 3 days old, they are already tracking movement with their eyes, responding to voices, showing awareness beyond what either species shows at this age. Their brains are developing rapidly. Is that dangerous?" Hana worried, holding Suho close. "I do not think so," Dr. Minji said. "I think they are simply very advanced. They might grow and learn faster than normal children. We will have to watch them carefully." Weeks turned into months. Hana and Jiwon fell into the exhausting rhythm of new parents. Sleepless nights, constant feedings, diaper changes and crying and moments of pure joy. But they also had to maintain the secret. They hired only one additional person to help them. Deho was a human security officer who had served with Jiwon for years. He was loyal, discreet, and fierce when needed. When Jiwon told him about the twins, Deho simply nodded. "I will protect them with my life," Deho said. "But sir, you cannot hide this forever. Children grow. They make noise. People will find out." "I know," Jiwon said. "We just need more time. Time to understand what they are, what they need before the universe tries to take them from us." Deho helped them secure the estate. No visitors without clearance. No unauthorized drones. No random inspections. He told the diplomatic corps that Ambassador Jiwon and Princess Hana needed privacy for personal reasons. Most people assumed it was cultural adjustment issues or relationship problems. No one suspected the truth. When the twins were 6 months old, they were already showing incredible development. Suho could sit up on his own and was starting to make complex sounds. Yuna was fascinated by everything, reaching for objects and studying them with intense focus. "They understand more than they should," Hana said one evening, watching Yuna examine a flower. "Look at her. She is not just looking at it. She is analyzing it, figuring out how it works." "Suho is the same way," Jiwon agreed. His son was currently stacking blocks with surprising precision for a 6-month-old. "Dr. Minji thinks their advanced development is stable. They are not in danger, just exceptional." "Exceptional," Hana repeated. "That is one word for it. Impossible is another." But the secret was getting harder to keep. Queen Isara was becoming suspicious. Her messages grew more frequent, more pointed. Why had she not seen her daughter in over a year? Why were all requests for visits denied? What were they hiding? We should tell her, Jiwon said, before she sends someone to investigate. I know, Hana agreed. But I am terrified. Once she knows, once anyone knows, we lose control. The twins become political property. They are our children, Jiwon said firmly. They will never be property. We need to tell your mother on our terms, in our way. We present Suho and Yuna not as political tools, but as proof that our peoples can build a real future together. Do you think she will see it that way? Hana asked. Probably not, Jiwon admitted, but we have to try. When the twins turned 1 year old, Hana and Jiwon made their decision. They would invite Queen Isara to visit. They would show her the children. They would make her understand that this was a miracle, not a threat. Dr. Minji prepared a full report on the twins' genetics, development, and potential. If you are going to tell the queen, tell her everything, she advised. Show her the science. Show her what this means for the future. Daeho increased security around the estate. If this goes badly, we need to be ready to evacuate, he said. I have a ship on standby. It will not come to that, Jiwon said, though he was not entirely sure. The invitation was sent. Your Majesty, we request the honor of your presence at our estate. There is something we must show you, something that will change everything. Please come alone with only your personal guard. What we have to share is for your eyes first. Queen Isara agreed to visit. She would arrive in 3 days. 3 days to prepare. 3 days to figure out how to tell a queen that her carefully laid plans had produced an impossible result. On the night before Isara's arrival, Hana could not sleep. She stood in the nursery, watching Suho and Yuna sleep in their cribs. They were so beautiful, so innocent. They did not understand what was about to happen. They did not know that their existence was about to shake 2 civilizations. What if she tries to take them from us? Hana whispered when Jiwon joined her. She will not, Jiwon said. I will not allow it. You will not allow it. We are their parents. We make the decisions about their lives. My mother is a queen, Hana said. She is used to getting what she wants. Then she will learn something new, Jiwon replied. She will learn that some things are more important than politics. Some things are sacred. Our children are sacred. Hana leaned against him, drawing strength from his certainty. I love you, she said. I love you too, Jiwon replied. And tomorrow, we show your mother that love can create miracles. The next morning, they dressed the twins in beautiful clothes that blended both cultures. Suho wore a little suit with Valthene patterns. Yuna wore a dress with human lace and Valthene crystals. They looked like what they were, perfect bridges between 2 worlds. Queen Isara's ship landed at noon. Hana's hands were shaking as she and Jiwon waited in the main hall. Daeho stood nearby, alert and ready. Dr. Minji waited in the next room with her data. The doors opened. Queen Isara entered tall and regal, her forearms adorned with royal jewelry, her skin glowing with authority. She looked at her daughter with sharp eyes, searching for answers. Hana, Isara said. You look well. Different, but well. Thank you, Mother, Hana replied. Please sit. We have much to discuss. Isara sat, her guards positioning themselves around the room. You have been avoiding me for over a year, she said bluntly. I want to know why. Hana looked at Jiwon. He nodded. Together they stood. We avoided you because we were not ready to share what had happened, Hana said. We needed time to understand it ourselves. But now it is time for you to know the truth. What truth? Isara asked, her eyes narrowing. Jiwon walked to the nursery door and opened it. He returned carrying Suho. Hana picked up Yuna. Together they presented their children to the queen. Mother, Hana said softly. Meet your grandchildren. This is Suho and this is Yuna. Queen Isara stared. Her 3 eyes went wide. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. For the first time in her long life, she was completely, utterly speechless. Queen Isara did not move. She could not move. Her body had locked completely, a defensive response that happened to Valthene in extreme shock. Her 3 eyes remained fixed on the 2 children in her daughter's and son-in-law's arms. Your Majesty, one of her guards said, stepping forward in alarm. Are you well? But Isara did not respond. Her multiple hearts had stopped beating for several seconds. Her respiratory system had paused. Every system in her body had frozen in disbelief at what she was seeing. Hana felt panic rising. Mother? Mother, please speak. Slowly, like ice thawing, Izara's body began to respond again. Her heart's restarted. She took a gasping breath. Her skin flickered through several colors as her emotions tried to process what was happening. How? The word came out as barely a whisper. Perhaps we should sit, G1 suggested gently. This is a long story. They moved to the sitting area. The guards remained alert, hands on their weapons, unsure if this was a threat to their queen or not. Izara sat down heavily, her eyes never leaving the babies. Suho made a happy gurgling sound and reached toward his grandmother. Yuna watched everything with her large, intelligent eyes. You said Hana was infertile, Izara finally said, her voice stronger now. You said she could never have children. The best doctors in the Empire confirmed this. How are their children? She was infertile, G1 said. By all Valthene medical understanding, she could never conceive. But something unexpected happened when our genetic material combined. He gestured to Dr. Minji, who had been waiting nearby. She stepped forward with her tablet and data. Your Majesty, Dr. Minji said, bowing respectfully. I am Dr. Minji, the physician who has been caring for your daughter. I have documented everything that happened. May I explain? Izara nodded, still too shocked to do more than listen. Dr. Minji launched into her explanation. Human genetic adaptability, the way human DNA interacted with Valthene genetics, the repair of Hana's reproductive system, the successful pregnancy, the healthy hybrid children. She showed graphs, genetic sequences, medical scans, everything she had collected over the past year. In summary, Dr. Minji concluded, these children are a genetic miracle. They are healthy, stable, and show traits superior to either parent species. Enhanced immune systems, rapid cognitive development, and the ability to thrive in environments suitable for either humans or Valthene. The room was silent for a long moment. Izara processed the information, her mind racing through implications and possibilities. May I hold one? She asked suddenly, looking at Hana. Hana hesitated, then carefully handed Yuna to her mother. Izara took the baby with all four arms, cradling her granddaughter gently. Yuna looked up at the queen and smiled. It was a simple, innocent smile. The smile of a child who did not understand politics or species or the weight of history. Something broke inside Izara. Tears formed in her eyes, something she had not allowed in decades. She was a queen. Queens did not cry. But she was also a grandmother now, holding an impossible grandchild. She is beautiful, Izara whispered. They are both beautiful. Yes, Hana said softly. They are. Izara looked up at her daughter. You hid this from me for a year. I had to, Hana replied. I knew what would happen if you found out too soon. You would take control. You would turn them into political assets. I needed time to be their mother first. You think I would use my own grandchildren? Izara asked, but her voice held no real anger. She knew her daughter was right. You used me, Hana said quietly. You married me to G1 because you thought I could produce no heirs. You thought it was safe. You thought you were giving away something broken for political gain. But I was never broken, Mother. I was just different. And my children are proof of that. The words hung in the air. Truth, painful and clear. Izara handed Yuna back to Hana carefully. She stood and walked to the window looking out at the gardens. Her guards watched her nervously. They had never seen their queen so unsettled. I was wrong, Izara said finally. I used you. I dismissed you as worthless because you could not fulfill traditional expectations. I am your mother and I failed you. I see that now. She turned back to face them. But this changes everything. You understand that, yes? When word of these children spreads, both our civilizations will react. Some with joy, some with fear, some with rage. We know, Jiwan said. That is why we wanted to tell you first. You are the queen. You control how this information is released. You can frame this as a positive development or a threat. The choice is yours. Why should I have that power? Izara asked. These are your children. Your family. Why give me control of their story? Because like it or not, they are also political, Hana said. They are proof that humans and Valthene can create life together. They represent possibilities that both our peoples need to see, but we want you to understand them as grandchildren first, as political symbols second. Izara walked back to them. She looked at Suho in Jiwon's arms. The boy was playing with his father's fingers, completely content. What do you want from me? Izara asked. Protection, Jiwan said immediately. When this becomes public, there will be people who want to study them, control them, maybe even harm them. We need your authority to keep them safe. And honesty, Hana added. Tell our people the truth. Not the version that is politically convenient, but the real truth. These children were born from love, not politics. They are proof that we have more in common than we have differences. Izara was quiet for a long time. Finally, she nodded. I will protect them. You have my word as queen and as grandmother, but I need time to prepare our people for this news. Revelations like this require careful management. How long? Jiwan asked. 1 week, Izara said. Give me 1 week to lay the groundwork. Then we will make a public announcement. Both civilizations simultaneously. We present Suho and Yuna not as threats but as hope. And if people react badly, Hana asked, then we deal with it, Izara said firmly. Together. As a family. The word family felt strange coming from her mother. Hana had never felt like part of Izara's family before, only an obligation. But now, looking at her mother hold Yuna again, she saw something different. She saw a grandmother discovering love she did not know she could feel. Over the next week, Queen Izara stayed at the estate. She wanted to know her grandchildren before the world learned about them. She played with them, fed them, learned their little personalities. Suho was curious and fearless. Yuna was thoughtful and gentle. Both were incredibly smart. They speak in both languages already, Izara observed one evening. Suho had just said Appa to Jiwon and then made a Valthine trill sound to Hana. At 1-year-old, impossible. Everything about them is impossible, Hana said. That is what makes them wonderful. Izara also spent time with Jiwon. They talked about human culture, about Earth's history, about the mistakes both their civilizations had made. I underestimated your people, Izara admitted. I saw humanity as chaotic and inferior because you are so diverse. But that diversity is your strength. You adapt. You survive. You thrive in any condition. My people have been so focused on purity that we have stagnated. Our diversity comes with costs, Jiwon said honestly. We fight among ourselves. We struggle to agree on anything. But yes, it also makes us resilient. And your DNA is so adaptable that it can repair genetic defects in other species, Izara said. Do you understand what that means? If this is replicable, if other Valthine with genetic issues could have children by partnering with humans, it could save our species from decline. Is your species in decline? Jiwon asked, surprised. Yes, Izara said quietly. We do not speak of it publicly, but our birth rates have been falling for centuries. Our focus on genetic purity has created problems. Infertility, shorter lifespans, increased disease. We are slowly dying out. Then maybe this is more than just about Suho and Yuna, Jiwon said. Maybe this is about survival for both our peoples. Maybe, Izara agreed. On the 7th day, preparations were complete. Broadcasting equipment was set up in the estate. Representatives from both civilizations were ready. The announcement would go out simultaneously to all Valthine and human worlds. Queen Izara stood before the cameras in full royal regalia. Beside her were Hana and Jiwon, dressed in formal clothing that blended both cultures. And in their arms were Suho and Yuna, looking at the cameras with innocent curiosity. People of the Valthine Empire and the Terran Coalition, Izara began. I speak to you today with news that will change our understanding of what is possible between our species. She told them everything. The marriage alliance, the unexpected pregnancy, the genetic miracle, the healthy hybrid children who represented hope for the future. I present to you my grandchildren, Izara said, Suho and Yuna, born of love between my daughter and her human husband, living proof that we are not as different as we believed, that together we can create something beautiful. She paused, letting the images of the children sink in. I know many of you will have questions, concerns, perhaps even fear, but I ask you to see these children as I see them, not as threats, not as political tools, but as the future, a future where Valthine and humans are not separate peoples but one people, where our strengths combine instead of conflict, where diversity is celebrated, not feared. The broadcast ended, and across hundreds of worlds, billions of beings saw the impossible children. The reactions began immediately. The response was immediate and explosive. Within hours of the broadcast, every news network in both civilizations was analyzing the announcement. Scientists demanded access to study the children. Politicians argued about what this meant for the peace treaty. Religious leaders on both sides declared everything from divine blessing to abomination. In the Valthene capital, the High Council convened an emergency session. High Priestess Valera stood before her colleagues, her skin flashing red with anger. "This is an affront to our entire way of life," she declared. "Our queen has legitimized the mixing of pure Valthene blood with inferior genetics. She has turned her back on 5,000 years of tradition." "The children exist," one counselor argued. "We cannot pretend they do not." "We can reject them," Valera countered. "We can declare them unnatural. We can demand they never set foot on Valthene worlds. We must protect the purity of our species." But not everyone agreed. Some Valthene saw the children differently. Scientists were fascinated by the genetic implications. Young Valthene who had questioned traditional values saw hope for change. Parents with infertile children saw a potential solution. The debate raged for days. Protests erupted on several Valthene worlds. Some demanded the children be brought to the home world for study. Others demanded they be hidden away where they could not contaminate Valthene culture. A few extremists even called for their elimination. On Earth and human colonies, the reaction was mixed as well. The Terran Coalition's Chancellor Kyung called an emergency meeting with his advisors. "This is an incredible opportunity," Kyung said, looking at images of the twins. "If human genetics can repair Valthene infertility, we could offer this as a service. Medical tourism, genetic partnerships. The economic possibilities alone are staggering." "With respect, Chancellor," Ambassador Yunbi said, "these are children, not a business opportunity. We need to think about the ethical implications. What happens if both species start interbreeding freely? What does it mean for human identity?" "For Valthene identity, it means evolution," Kyung replied. "Species evolve or they die. Perhaps this is the next step for both our peoples." But not all humans were enthusiastic. Some feared that widespread interbreeding would dilute human genetics. Others worried about creating a hybrid underclass that belonged to neither species. Conservative groups called the children an experiment that had gone too far. At the estate on Haven's Rest, Hana and Jiwon watched the news reports with growing alarm. Daeho had increased security to maximum. The estate was now surrounded by both human and Valthene guards, protecting the family from potential threats. "They are talking about our children like they are property," Hana said, her voice tight with anger. "Like Suho and Yuna are experiments or political tools." "I know," Jiwon said, holding her close. "But we knew this would happen. We have to stay strong." Dr. Minji entered the room looking worried. "I have received over 500 requests from scientists wanting to study the children. Some are respectful, some are demanding. A few are threatening to come here by force if we do not cooperate. No one touches our children without our permission," Jiwon said firmly. "I do not care who they are." "There is something else," Dr. Minji said. "I have been contacted by other Valthene families. Quietly, secretly, they have children or family members with genetic conditions. They want to know if human partnerships could help them too." "What did you tell them?" Hana asked. "That I do not know," Dr. Minji said honestly. "Your case might be unique. It might be replicable. We would need years of research to understand it. But these families are desperate. They see Suho and Yuna as hope." Queen Asara returned to the estate 3 days after the broadcast. She looked exhausted, her skin pale. "The council is divided," she reported. "Half want to embrace this change. Half want to reject it. The religious faction is calling for your children to be declared illegitimate." "Can they do that?" Jiwon asked. "They can try," Izara said. "But I am still queen, and I have made my position clear. Suho and Yuna are my legitimate grandchildren. They are part of the royal bloodline. Anyone who challenges that challenges me directly." "What about the extremists?" Hana asked. "The ones calling for their deaths?" Izara's expression hardened. "They will be dealt with. I have ordered security forces to track down anyone making threats against your family." "This is not negotiable." "Mother," Hana said quietly, "what if you lose your throne over this? What if supporting us costs you your crown?" Izara looked at her daughter with an expression Hana had never seen before. "Love pure and simple. Then I lose my crown," Izara said. "I have been queen for 70 years. I have made many decisions, good and bad. But choosing my grandchildren over politics is the easiest decision I have ever made. You are my family. That matters more than any throne." Hana felt tears on her face. Her mother had never spoken to her this way before. never put family above duty, never chosen love over power. The political situation continued to deteriorate over the next weeks. On the Valthine homeworld, riots broke out between traditionalists and progressives. Several government buildings were damaged. The High Council was deadlocked on whether to formally recognize the hybrid children. High Priestess Valera organized a large demonstration outside the royal palace. Thousands of Valthine gathered, chanting against the corruption of pure blood and demanding the queen step down. "She has betrayed us," Valera shouted to the crowd. "She has embraced abomination and called it progress. She has allowed alien genetics to pollute the royal bloodline. This cannot stand." But a counter-protest formed as well. Younger Valthine scientists and families with genetic issues marched in support of the queen and the hybrid children. They carried signs reading "Evolution, not extinction," and "Diversity is strength." The two groups clashed. Violence erupted. Security forces struggled to maintain order. For the first time in centuries, the Valthine homeworld teetered on the edge of civil conflict. On Earth, Chancellor Kyung proposed legislation to encourage human Valthine partnerships. "We should offer incentives," he argued. "Tax benefits, medical support, guaranteed rights for hybrid children. Make this a formal program." Ambassador Yunbi opposed him. "You are treating this like a breeding program. These should be personal choices based on love, not economic incentives. We need to slow down and think about the implications." "We do not have time to slow down," Kyung snapped. "The Valthine are tearing themselves apart over this. If we do not provide a stable framework, chaos will spread to our side as well." At the estate, the stress was taking its toll on everyone. Hana had nightmares about people taking her children away. Jiwon barely slept, constantly checking security reports. Even Suho and Yuna seemed to sense the tension, becoming fussy and clingy. "We cannot live like this," Hana said one evening. "Always afraid. Always under siege. This is no life for our children." "What choice do we have?" Jiwon asked. "We could run," Hana suggested. "Take the children and disappear. Find some remote planet where no one knows who we are." "They would find us," Jiwon said, "and running would make things worse. It would look like we are ashamed of Suho and Yuna, like we agree they should be hidden." "Then what do we do?" Hana asked desperately. Before Jiwon could answer, Dr. Minji rushed in. "Turn on the news, now!" They activated the viewing screen. A news report was showing footage from the Valthine homeworld. High Priestess Valera stood before cameras, making an announcement. "The time for words has passed," Valera declared. "The children born of human and Valthine must be brought before the council for judgment. If Queen Azara will not surrender them for examination, we will take them by force. This is a religious decree. All faithful Valthine are called to support this action. She is declaring a holy war over our babies," Hana whispered in horror. Queen Isara appeared on screen moments later, broadcasting from the royal palace. "Any attempt to take my grandchildren by force will be met with the full military might of the throne. I will protect them with every resource at my command. Valera, you are hereby stripped of your position and declared a traitor to the crown." The screen split, showing reactions from both sides. Valera's supporters mobilized. Isara's forces prepared for conflict. The peace between Valthine and humans, already strained, seemed about to shatter completely. "We need to get you out of here," Deho said, entering with a squad of armed guards. "If this turns into a shooting war, this estate will be a target." "Where would we go?" Jiwon asked. "I have a safe house prepared on a neutral station," Deho said. "Hidden, secure, off all official records. We can move you there tonight." Hana looked at Jiwon. He looked back at her. They both looked at their children, playing innocently with toys, unaware that their existence had pushed two civilizations to the brink. "We do not run," Hana said suddenly. "We face this. We stand together with my mother. If Valera wants a war, she will get one, but she will not get our children." "Are you sure?" Jiwon asked. "No," Hana admitted. "But running will not solve anything. This has to be resolved. Our children deserve a world where they are accepted, not hidden. If we have to fight for that world, then we fight." Jiwon nodded slowly. "Then we fight together." Queen Isara arrived at the estate within hours, bringing a F. The journey to the Valthine homeworld took 3 days. During that time, the situation continued to spiral. Valera had occupied the Grand Temple with her followers. They claimed religious authority superseded the queen's political authority. Thousands of traditionalist Valthine rallied to her cause, believing they were protecting their civilization from corruption. But thousands more rallied to Queen Isara, scientists who saw the potential in hybrid genetics. Young Valthine tired of ancient traditions, families desperate for solutions to genetic problems. They saw the Queen as a leader brave enough to embrace change. The homeworld was divided, not just politically but physically. Neighborhoods declared for either the Queen or the Priestess. The capital city had checkpoints between zones. It was not quite civil war, but it was close. "This is my fault," Hana said as she watched news reports. "If I had never married Jiwan, if we had never had children, none of this would be happening." "If you had never married me," Jiwan said gently, "the peace treaty would have failed and we would be at war anyway. At least this conflict is about hope instead of hate. This fight is about the future, not the past." Queen Azara had spent the 3 days in constant communication with her advisors, military leaders, and remaining council members. She was planning something, but she kept the details to herself. When they arrived at the royal palace, security was overwhelming. Warships orbited overhead. Ground forces surrounded every entrance. The palace had become a fortress. "Welcome home," Izara said to Hana as they disembarked. "I know the circumstances are not ideal, but I am glad you are here." Over the next 2 days, Isara held private meetings with key figures from both sides of the divide. She spoke with moderate religious leaders who disagreed with Valira's extremism. She met with scientists eager to study the hybrid children properly, with respect rather than as test subjects. She coordinated with Chancellor Kyung on Earth to present a unified human Valthine response. On the 3rd day after their arrival, Isara made her announcement. She was calling for a grand assembly, something that had not been done in over a century. Every major faction of Valthine society would send representatives. The assembly would gather in the ancient forum, a massive open-air structure that could hold 100,000 people. "I will address our people directly," Isara explained to Hana and Jiwan. "Not through screens or broadcasts, but face-to-face. I will bring Suho and Yuna. I will let the people see what we are really talking about, not theories or politics, but 2 innocent children." "You are putting them in danger," Hana protested. "What if someone tries to hurt them?" "I have taken every precaution," Izara assured her. "There will be shields, guards, security measures you cannot even see. But more importantly, I believe in our people. When they see these children, really see them, they will understand. Not all of them, perhaps, but enough." "And if you are wrong?" Jiwan asked. "Then I am wrong," Izara said simply. "But I have to try. We all have to try. Or we surrender to fear and let it destroy everything we have built." The day of the Grand Assembly arrived. The forum filled with Valthine from every social level, scientists in their lab coats, priests in religious robes, military officers in uniform, common citizens in everyday clothing. Media drones filled the air, broadcasting to billions watching across the empire. High Priestess Valira stood in one section with her followers. She had agreed to attend, confident that the assembly would support her position. She believed the people would reject the hybrid children once they heard proper religious arguments against them. Queen Izara entered the forum with Hana and Jiwan beside her. In Hana's arms was Yuna. In Jiwan's arms was Suho. The children looked around at the massive crowd with wide, curious eyes. The crowd's reaction was mixed. Some cheered. Some booed. Most simply stared, trying to process what they were seeing. The children were not theoretical anymore. They were real, physical, present. Isara stepped to the central platform. Her voice, amplified by technology, reached every corner of the forum and broadcast to every Valthine world. "My people," she began, "I stand before you today not just as your queen but as a grandmother. And I ask you to listen not just to my words but to your hearts." She paused, letting the silence settle. "For 5,000 years, we Valthine have believed ourselves superior to all other species. We have valued purity above all else. We have maintained strict genetic lines. We have rejected diversity as weakness. And what has it brought us?" She gestured to a display screen that appeared behind her, showing data. Birth rate statistics, genetic disease numbers, population projections decline, Izara said bluntly. "Our population is shrinking. Our genetic diversity is collapsing. Diseases once rare are now common. Infertility affects 1 in 4 families. We are dying slowly and we have been too proud to admit it." Murmurs ran through the crowd. This information was not widely known. Many Valthine were hearing it for the first time. "I believed the lies too," Izara continued. "I believed purity was strength. When my daughter was born infertile, I saw her as broken. I married her to a human not out of respect or hope, but because I thought she could produce no heirs. I thought I was giving away something worthless for political gain. She looked at Hannah with obvious love and regret. I was wrong. My daughter was never broken. Our society was broken. Our thinking was broken, and my daughter proved it by giving birth to two healthy, beautiful children who should not exist by our old understanding. Isara walked to Hannah and gently took Yuna. She held her granddaughter up so the entire assembly could see. "This is Yuna," Isara said. "She's 1 year old. She is half Valthine and half human. According to our old beliefs, she should not be possible. According to our traditions, she should be rejected. But look at her. Really look." The massive screens showed close-ups of Yuna's face, her large, intelligent eyes, her delicate features blending both species, her expression of innocent curiosity. She is healthy. She is advanced. Her immune system is superior to pure Valthine. Her cognitive development exceeds both our species at this age. She can thrive in environments that would challenge either humans or Valthine. And she is not an abomination. She is a miracle. Isara handed Yuna back to Hannah and took Suho from Jiwon. "This is Suho," she said, holding up her grandson. "He is his sister's twin. He carries the same miraculous genetics, the same potential, the same proof that diversity is not weakness but strength." Suho reached for his grandmother's face with his small hands. Isara smiled, a genuine expression of love that everyone could see. "I present these children to you not as threats but as hope," Isara said. "Hope that our species does not have to die slowly. Hope that by embracing humans, by combining our strengths, we can create something better than either species alone. Hope that the future is not about purity, but about possibility." She set Suho down gently on the platform. Yuna squirmed free from Hannah and toddled over to her brother. The two children sat together, playing with each other, completely unaware of the historic moment happening around them. "But I know words are not enough," Isara continued. "So I have brought proof, Dr. Minji." The human physician stepped forward with a team of Valthine scientists. Together they presented their research. Genetic data, medical reports, projections showing how human-Valthine partnerships could address the Valthine fertility crisis. Evidence that hybrid children had superior traits. One of the Valthine scientists, an elderly female named Kira, spoke with passion. "I have studied genetics for 60 years. I have watched our species decline. These children represent a solution I never thought possible. Human DNA is incredibly adaptable. It can repair genetic damage. It can restore fertility. It can give us a future." "This is heresy," Valera shouted from her section. "You ask us to abandon our identity, to mix our blood with aliens, to become something other than Valthine." "No," Isara said firmly. "I ask us to evolve or die. Those are our choices. We can cling to traditions that are killing us, or we can adapt and survive. Humans learned this lesson long ago. It is time we learned it too." She gestured to Jiwon, inviting him to speak. Jiwon stepped forward, holding his composure despite being a single human facing 100,000 Valthine. "I am not a scientist or a king," Jiwon said. "I am just a father who loves his children, and a man who has learned to love his wife despite all our differences. Humans are not perfect. We have made countless mistakes, but we survived because we never stopped adapting, never stopped learning, never stopped embracing new possibilities." He walked to where Suho and Yuna were playing. "These children are not the end of Valthine identity," Jiwon said. "They are its evolution. They carry your history, your strength, your honor, but they also carry human resilience, adaptability, and diversity. Together, these traits create something extraordinary, something that can thrive in a changing galaxy." Ambassador Yunbi appeared on a large screen broadcasting from Earth. "The Terran Coalition offers full support for voluntary human-Valthine partnerships. We will establish medical facilities, genetic counseling, and legal protections for hybrid families. We believe this is the beginning of something beautiful, not threatening." The assembly erupted in discussion. Arguments broke out. Some Valthine stood and shouted their support.